Are you working for your money, or is your money working for you? For today's corporate treasurers, daily administrative obstacles often stand in the way of far more important strategic work. Fides Treasury Services offers the tools to sidestep those time sinks. Its CEO, Alain Schmid, joins me now. Alain, explain for me why simple multi-banking tasks can take so much time.
You might know that the Swiss people is full of train enthusiasts, so I would like to take that as an example for illustrating my answer. Nowadays, passengers traveling from Zurich to Milan don't have to change their train. But you know, it wasn't always so. So passengers had to change trains at borders, their luggage had to be reloaded. Obviously, this brought with it the risk of damage to lost goods, and it also increased the travel time. So coming back to multi-banking, while some banks still do not operate electronically, most of the banks obviously do, but they have different standards, different channels in place. In addition, all these internet banking tools, they have their own logic, and user administration is very complex. So all this adds to the complexities of a corporate treasurer's day-to-day work.
So how does Fides connect those different channels, those different networks, and how much time can you save?
It's actually a very easy business case. We usually encounter situations where at least the whole of an FTE is spent just to gain cash visibility. Automation can reduce this time to a push on a button, not to speak of the costly mistakes which might result out of human errors. Just as a fast train transport passengers very secure, very fast from one place to the other, the Fides multi-banking services ensure that information between the bank and the corporates are transported in a very reliable, fast and secure way.
Regulatory compliance can also take up an enormous amount of time. How can you help with this?
I recently spoke to a CFO and he told me that he needs 2 FTEs just to take care of banking compliance management. These days, a corporate treasurer, he has to ensure compliance with various regulations all over the world. The more bank he's working with, the more complex this task begins. So he has 2 possibilities. Either he's doing it by himself, documenting all the kinds of different jobs or tasks and compliance standards, or he uses Fides services which reduces the processes to actually one standard. So a lot less to document, a lot more efficiency if you have to control these processes.
And outsourcing this business need must also help with future-proofing against changes to regulation.
You know, technology in treasury changes very quickly. Also, the rules governing financial transaction, usually within a few years, you see some changes. So again, there are 2 possibilities for a treasurer to react. First, he can invest in his own IT infrastructure. He has to hire specialists, business people who are familiar with, for example, SWIFT rules. And last but not least, he has to take care of all these technology tasks. This is usually very costly, a lot of dependencies, so he usually chooses the second possibility, which is outsourcing the business to Fides, reducing dependencies and being much more cost-effective than the first solution. We see more than 70% of companies going for the second kind of a solution.
What other benefits does automation bring? You mentioned cutting down on manual errors earlier. Give me some examples.
Fides multi-banking services releases the corporate treasurers from, let's say, manual IT technology-related tasks which don't bring value added to his business. Fides also offers all kinds of value-added services, so increasing the pass-through rate for the corporate is quite an easy-going thing. We also have to mention the negative interest rate environment these days. So you know, a few years ago, if you had too much cash on your account, it was not that much of a mistake, because you still earned money on your cash. But these days, you might lose twice. First, you lose because you might not be covering a debit balance, and secondly, you have to pay on your excess cash.
So what is the future of Fides multi-banking platform? What are the next challenges you're going to be tackling?
It's all about centralization. And it's actually not a new trend. It's a trend which has been lasting for several years. So you need scalable solutions in place to follow this trend. You can't do it with just one regional solution. You really need a global solution. That's where Fides comes in. And then you have all these different digitalization initiatives. I'm convinced that we will see some disruption, especially in the cash market, peer-to-peer business. But when I'm talking with my clients or potential clients, it's usually the traditional values which stay absolutely core. So for example, knowing where your data is, data security. In professional businesses, these won't change that fast.
Alan, thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome.
You can find out more about Fides Treasury Management Solutions at europeanceo.com. And please subscribe for the latest business, finance and strategic insights transforming Europe.